Good morning, children. Today I am going to teach you class 6 social science history portion, chapter 9 political developments. Dear children, in the chapter we learn about the following points. We learn about the rise of the Gupta. Second point, we learn about the Gupta administration. And thirdly, we learn about Harshavardhana. And the fourth, we learn about the Pallavas and Chalukyas. So first of all, we'll start with the first point. We learn about the rise of the Gupta. The Guptas were possibly the feudatories of Kusanas in UP, and possibly they succeeded them without any considerable time difference. We may conclude based on the archaeological sources which have been uncovered from UP and Bihar. In many cases, the Kusanas antiquities were immediately followed by the Gupta antiquities. The original kingdom of Gupta comprised UP and Bihar at the end of the 3rd century or CE. They had their center of power at Prague, from where they spread to the neighboring region. The Gupta Empire started out as a small kingdom in Magadha in 4th century CE. It was founded by Sri Gupta. Chandragupta I came to the throne in 319 CE and expanded the kingdom. He confined his rule to Magadha and parts of eastern UP, and he assumed the title of Maharaja Dhiraja. Chandragupta was succeeded by his son Samudragupta in 335 CE. He is one of the greatest rulers of ancient India. During his reign, the Gupta Empire extended from Allahabad to the borders of Bengal. He defeated 12 kings of South India. Several kings of North India were uprooted and their territories added to the Gupta Empire. Samudragupta was not only a powerful military commander, but also a great lover of poetry and music. Chandragupta II succeeded Samudragupta in 380 CE. He extended the empire through matrimonial alliance and conquest. He married his daughter Prabhavati to Vakataka prince from central India. But unfortunately, the prince died early and was succeeded by his young son. Prabhavati thus became the virtual ruler. So, Chandragupta II exercised the direct control over Vakataka kingdom in central India. The conquest of Gujarat gave him control over the Western Sea. The conquest of Gujarat gave him control over the Western Sea coast famous for trade and commerce. He also made Ujjain his second capital. His court was adorned by 9 scholars who were called the Navaratnas. It was during his reign that the Chinese pilgrims visited India and wrote an account of the life of people in India. Now, we shall move to the second point, that is to learn about the Gupta administration. The Gupta king took up titles such as Parameswara, Maharaja Dhiraja. This means that they rule over many lesser kings, maintained a standing army. It was occasionally supplemented by the forces of his feudatories. Horse chariots lost their importance. Cavalry was of supreme importance during this period. In the Gupta period, though land taxes increased, taxes from trade and commerce decreased. The king collected the taxes, which ranged from 1/4 to 1/6 of the produced. The judicial administration was far more developed during the Gupta period than in the earlier period. The artisans, guilds, merchants, and others were governed by their own laws. Now, provincial and local administration. The emperor was divided into bhuktis, and each bhuktis was placed under the charge of an aparika. The bhuktis were divided into districts, or you can say the vishwas, which were placed under a Vishyapati. In eastern India, Vishya were further divided into Vitis. The Vitis were divided into villages. Now, we shall see the decline of the empire. The successors of Chandragupta II had to face repeated invasion by the Huns from Central Asia in the second half of the 5th century CE. Initially, the Gupta king Skandagupta took effective steps to stem the march of the Huns to India. But his successes proved to be weak and were unable to stop the Huns invaders. By the beginning of the 6th century CE, the independent princes using land grants in their own right. So, the Gupta state found it difficult to maintain a large army because of the growing practice of giving land. Because of growing practice of giving land grants for religious and other purposes, which led to the loss of revenue. Now, thirdly, we shall see about the Harshavardhana. Harshavardhana or Harsha occupied the throne of Thaneshwar in 606 CE, or you can say 606 CE, and ruled till 647 CE. Harsha ruled from Kanauj in Uttar Pradesh. Harsha's reign marked the transition from ancient to medieval times. Harsha patronized Buddhism and built several monasteries and stupas. He organized the fifth Buddhist assembly at Kanauj in 643 CE. The reign of Harsha is historically important because of the visit of the Chinese pilgrim whose name is Huan, who left China in 629 CE and traveled all the way to India. He stayed in India for a long time and returned to China in 645 CE. He spent many years in Harsha's court and traveled widely across the country. When Sang observes that the people during the reign of Harsha were happy and contented. They lived a simple and honest life. Now, fourth point we shall see about the Pallavas and the Chalukyas. In South India, between early 4th century and late 9th century CE, a line of rulers emerged as indigenous subordinates of the Satavahanas in the Deccan. They moved into Andhra and then to Kanchipuram, where they became the rulers. They were Pallavas, who dominated northern part of Tamil region for about 600 years. Mahendravarman I was the first important Pallava king. His reign is marked by the constant battle with the western Chalukya kingdom of Badami under the Pulakeshin II. Mahendravarman's successor, Narasimha Varman, first conquered some of the lost territory. The Pallava dominance passed to Chola kings in about 880 CE. Now we'll see about the Chalukyas. The Western Chalukyas ruled as emperors in the Deccan from 543 CE to 757 CE, and again from about 975 CE to about 1189 CE. Their capital was at Badapi. Pulakeshin I was a petty chieftain of Patadakal in Bijapur district. He captured and fortified the hill fort of Vatapi and seized control of territory between the Krishna and Tungabhadra rivers and the Western Ghats. Pulakeshin II ruled between 610 CE and 642 CE. Pulakeshin evidently got the kingdom from his uncle. He defied the North Indian rulers, Harsha of Kanauj, and defeated him. The boundary between them was fixed on the Narmada river. But the Chalukya victory was short-lived. Both the Pallavas and the Chalukya gave way to new rulers belonging to Rashtrakuta and Chola dynasty. So, dear children, I hope you might have understood whatever I have taught today. So, for today this much, I'll wind up. Thank you.